Hey, everybody. I am Katrina from inkatwetrust, and welcome to another season and another episode of Kicking Back with Cat. And I have another fabulous guest here with me today, Diana Sandoval. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, that's me, Diana Sandoval, live
I did it
from Las
right.
Vegas.
I am super happy to have you on. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for this. I'm doing fantastic. I'm actually on my way to Palmdale, California for a lucha event, so I'm really excited.
Oh, nice. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. So, my first question to you is when was your aha moment when you realized you wanted to ring announce at wrestling shows? Like it was like this is something I have to do or want to do.
Well, I didn't really have one, to be honest. I was kind of like thrown into it in a way. You know how indie wrestling goes. It's always like, oh, we're missing this, missing that. So, long story short, I was at a convention and they completely forgot to get a ring announcer. And you know how it goes. Oh, you're so and so's girlfriend. Do you want to try it? And I was like, sure, why not? And I mean, I've been a wrestling since I was like 8 years old. So I mean, I've been going to like wrestling shows and like I've been in a relationship at that point. I think for about 2 years, I want to say, year and a half or 2 years with a professional wrestler. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let me try it. And ended up falling in love with it. And like a couple of years later, I want to say like 3 years later, here we are, and I'm living my best life.
Oh, nice. So, do you have a favorite show? Because I feel like that's kind of how it happened suddenly for me too. I did a favor for somebody, and I was like, "Why are you asking me? Like, I don't know what I'm doing." Like backstage, and then that backstage event had me meet somebody else and kind of opened everything else. And so I definitely, and I was just I did a podcast interview with the person who asked me, and then she was like, "Oh, just come in." I'm like, "You don't need me. I don't know what I'm doing." And so, I definitely hear, I understand that indirectly, just like, here you go, and they just kind of throw you to wolves sometimes.
Because if not, like, you never know when the opportunity will be presented. And so, just take them whenever you can, whenever you feel ready. But I don't really have like a favorite, politically correct answer, but they're all my favorites, truly. I started off technically with pro wrestling. So I guess you can say that's like my home base. And then from there, I've just been doing lots of stuff around Las Vegas and then started spreading around the West Coast a little bit. So I've done a lot of stuff, especially with like New Tradition, Lucha Libre. And I just recently started doing stuff with RMW and um, MPW as well. I've got that show, so that should be fun. And then I've done West Coast Pro a couple of times now, but mostly based in Las Vegas. So it's been a while since I've done Versus Pro. That's kind of like where I started, and then now with like Pride Style Wrestling, I play a big part in that because I play like the GM there, and that's been really fun. And I've done a couple of like Future Stars of Wrestling shows, a couple of been backstage correspondent for. So it's all just been fun and super fun.
Yeah, I love that you're doing all the different things. I think that's always in general, like I know the men wrestlers are great and all, but I always like to see women kind of just doing what they do. I think that's such an important thing to have in wrestling. And
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
so is there any advice you might have gotten from anybody, any wrestler, anybody you might have worked with, fellow ring announcers or broadcasters that you kind of hold dear to you, that you kind of take with you at every show or even every day?
Um, well, I like my boyfriend is truly my best friend. So whenever I have any like, oh, I don't know if this was okay, or I don't know if this was all right. He's always there to like, or me, you know, you're doing your job, or maybe this could be better, whatever it is. You can always come to him and trust him. Anything. Any other announcers really? I don't know if he still is into announcing very often or very. But like when I first started getting Joshua Shibata, who was a really really cool actor in SoCal, was like very eager to me. His email was like, "Hey, yeah, if you need absolutely anything, if you want to send me those of you ring announcing, so you can critique them, or if you ever need any advice, I'm always here." And I really miss Josh. Like he was really great. He was awesome. He did FSW a couple of times. The first time where I saw him, I know he's done a lot of stuff in Southern California as well. Somebody else that has always been really cool to me is Adnan, a ring announcer in SoCal, and he retired. He was like, "Hey, I have this whole entire like, arsenal of people that I've ring announced. Here's all their information, like their weight, their all the stuff. Here you go. Like it's for you now." And I'm like, dude, this is the craziest gift ever. But honestly, it's been really cool to meet other ring announcers and to be friends with announcers because I'm truly of the mindset like enough out there for everybody and have been in that set of like, no, these are my shows. I can do this. You know what I mean? So it's been really fun to just meet everyone and kind of trade little like secret little tidbits with everybody just so that everybody can see.
Yeah, I love that. I'm with you on that one too. I do think sometimes in wrestling, it's the mindset like it's not enough spots, and in some extent it isn't, but also in a lot of extent they are, and it just have to be okay with just like kind of rotating or just being able to lend a hand. I feel like that's the way I want to say that, but I definitely agree with you there. And so you said you were watching wrestling since you were 8. So who was your favorite wrestler? I was watching since I was 6. So I definitely understand single digits. And so who was your wrestler you had to watch, or it's like this person I need to be in front of the TV to see every week?
Yeah, started watching when I was really young, and man, well, the first couple of favorites, obviously being Latina, Rey Mysterio, everything, right? Like Rey Mysterio was everything, everywhere. The first wrestler that got my attention, like I was hooked, was actually Booker T. So I was watching. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like Tribute to the Troops, 2004, 2004, something like that. That was like the first exposure to American wrestling that I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Oh, this guy's really cool. What's he doing? Like his character, who he was in the ring, really caught my attention. So from there, it just took over, and I took pro wrestling first growing up, like down really. Um, I was a huge fan of Brian Kendrick. Those like were my guys. Like some people had the Hardy Boys, but I had Brian Kendrick. So definitely those guys were really cool to me when I was little. And still are.
You mentioned Hardys, and that was definitely my gosh. It was first Shawn Michaels. That was the intro to wrestling for me. But the Hardys is where I got like obsessive. And I was like, oh my god, I have to watch this, and I have to be everything, and have to have everything they on. It was bad. Um, but I definitely think Rey Mysterio is definitely somebody who is who I say somebody who like kind of stood the test of time of like just being longevity and still bringing his culture into wrestling, which I think is always fantastic, and I see that as well. And so, is there any like bucket list wrestlers you would love to announce that you have not having the chance to do yet?
Oh my gosh. I feel like there's so many, but also, oh no, oh my goodness. Um, oh, this is such a good question. I don't know. There are plenty of people that I would love to meet just to like talk to, but to like, you know, I don't know. You know, one of the craziest things that I just like got to do this last October was I got to announce Ricardo Rodriguez, and that was really fun. That was really cool. I like tried to make it cool and put a lot of pressure on myself, I think, just to do his intro. Because, I mean, like an announcer, sort of, or like he played an announcer on WWE TV. And I grew up technically watching it. It was really fun. I really enjoyed announcing Lucha Dorado. That was really fun too, because he has that lucha lit in there. So I tried to like hold the note for that one. That one was really cool. I've actually had the privilege of announcing Brian Kendrick, so like that one is off my bucket list. I think one of the only people that I have that I think I could still hopefully potentially announce one day for is Victoria. I love her. She was my favorite of all the women when I was growing up. Victoria and Melina. So if I could reunite one day, that would be like, wow, like, a 10-year-old never thought.
You're gonna put that into universe, and hopefully you can actually make that happen. That'd be great. Is there, like, I know you said you did some backstage stuff, you've done ring announcing, and you play a GM. So is there any difference, since I guess in having, I know like when you're ring announcing, it's a different kind of introing, but also kind of introducing the audience and kind of bringing them in. And then backstage is kind of like I want to say like a buffer. I feel like you're kind of like bringing, if somebody might not have seen the show, well, this backstage interview might tell the person what's going on. So what aspects do you bring between those things, and then also playing the GM, where it's like things that are same, but what are the different things about those three different like jobs that you have participated in so far?
So I feel like they're so different just because announcing, I'm asking you for the information. You're telling me exactly what you say. So I can go out there and just be like, okay, this, I know exactly what I'm saying. Backstage corresponding and commentary, those two things, mad to you, girl, for doing backstage corresponding, because I really need to improve on that. That's something that I'm not very skilled at yet, because there's always room for improvement. But it just takes so much like charisma and quick wit and like mental energy to really not only come up with a question that's really and makes them respond, makes the wrestlers like respond in a certain way, but also like, I don't know, it's just so much harder because I'm not a person that is really good at thinking like, on the fly. So with like backstage corresponding and writing, I just need to work on that. It just takes a whole different skill set that I just need to develop.
That's funny you say that, because I feel like my ring announcing is what I need to get better at, and it's only because I feel like my voice is pretty soft, and so sometimes I'm like, am I speaking loud enough? And I feel like ring announcers, they automatically is on 100 when they introduce somebody, and I'm like, am I loud enough? Even when I'm microphone, I feel like my voice is still pretty quiet, and so it's like, ooh, can they tell I'm introducing? I'm not trying to be quiet. It's just that's how my natural voice sounds. But I do feel like backstage correspondence, I had to get used to it. I think in gimmick, I was thrown off the first time a heel, and I was like, oh, I was not ready for that. So my shock was genuine. I didn't know that person was going to do that. And I was like, now I can turn it on and off. But the first time I was like, wait, what? Like, you're just, okay, I wasn't ready. So it was genuine shock when the person did it, because I was like, oh, you guys do this? I wasn't ready.
Yeah, it's hard. It is so hard. I can't. Like the last time somebody had me do like kind of backstage corresponding, or not really backstage corresponding, but interviews, like the crowd, and I was trying my best. Man, that was a tough crowd, girl. Yeah, major props to anyone at the backstage correspondent or like commentary, anything like that. I feel like my job's the easiest. I just get to go up there. I get to say things that people already tell me like to say, and then I just get off the ring and I announce the winner afterwards.
Is there like, could you see yourself? People have asked me this, and I would say no. I've tried it one time just to see, and I was like, oh God, I can't do this. The wrestlers who wrestle. Could you see yourself maybe wrestling one day, even if it's like a one-off type match and you have to train that one time? Could you see yourself wrestling? Or is it like, I need to be just on the mic and that's it?
Hell no, I am not getting in that ring. Absolutely not. Every time I try to get into that ring, there is a small chance, or like pretty big chance that I'll just like over. That's why I don't wear heels to the ring. Like I try to wear flats or like sandals with like a little bit of height maybe, but like absolutely not 100% like I like against it for myself just because I don't want to hurt myself, but more importantly, I do not want to hurt somebody else like by accident just because I have no idea what I'm doing. Also, my memory is not the best, and I feel like with pro wrestling, there's a lot of stuff that you got to remember. So no, nobody wants to see me wrestle, girl. Trust me. Nobody. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, somebody asked, and I was like, I took one bump just to see what it felt like, and I was like, oh, this is what I feel right. So I'm good backstage. That's fine. I don't need to be in any ring because I don't like this. I don't like the way it feels like. I feel like you can feel it through your whole body, and I'm like, every time you wrestle, you feel this. No, we're good. So I, I hear you. I'm definitely like, no, let me just do my mic stuff. That's where I'm.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I heard somebody say one time that it was like whenever you take a bump in the ring, it's equivalent to your body going through like a car crash going 35 miles an hour. So every single time, you're telling me every single time you take a bump, oh no, I'm good for this.
Exactly, and it's weird. It's definitely weird. I'm like, you feel this all through your body, and I'm tiny, so it's like, no, we're good. We don't need to do that. Not me at least. Um,
Yeah, it's a lot. Mad respect to everybody who's a pro wrestler because that shit takes. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to cuss or not,
you're
but like,
fine. No, you're fine.
yeah, like that shit takes. It takes agility. It takes like you got to be tough. So not that. I'm good.
What are some things you do? Like, I feel like in the age of social media, it's like social media helps. As I met a good chunk of friends online, just people who I now hold very dear to me because of online. But unfortunately, with social media, you have a lot of negativity attached to it as well. And so, what are some things you do if you need to just decompress or take a minute to just be like unplug? What are some of your go-to moments or things you do for like self-care?
For self care, I really I'm trying to get back into the gym, like without it being too obsessive. So like without getting too much into detail, like there was a point where the gym was actually like unhealthy for me. This was like 7 years ago, but like there was a point where it became a little obsessive. I'm trying to get into gym now to where like it's a time for me to like not only have a good workout but also like to decompress. My favorite thing right now is the sauna at the gym. I love the sauna. Sauna time is me time, and I don't have my phone with me, so I don't have social media or like doom scroll or anything like that. I can put my phone outside, put on my headphones, whatever playlist I want or whatever podcast and just sit in the sauna and be like at peace for at least 20 to 30 minutes just by myself in my own little world. Um, I work in a school. I'm a sign language interpreter for children. So we'll have every day, we have a 10-minute meditation practice, something that I think is really try to like bring that to the kids that like, hey, 10 minutes is just for you. Like, you don't have anything else, just you and how you're feeling in the moment. So, um, really, just like alone time has just been wonderful for my mental health.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely think everybody should try to sometimes just take a minute to themselves. I think the world's already very negative sometimes. Like, there's obviously goodness in the world, but there's a lot of negativity, and it can be a lot for anybody. But I feel like when you're in semi-public eye, and I say that as we're in like the wrestling like the wrestling business is like you are public to an extent, and so it's like sometimes it can be
Yeah.
a lot on anybody. So I'm glad you have something that helps you just kind of take a minute, take it back in, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a quick little speed round of questions. Tell me the first thing that comes up in your head when I say it.
Okay.
So, last song you had on replay.
On replay, Baby Tirarmas Fotos by Bad Bunny.
Okay. Last TV show you binge watched.
Oh, last TV show I binge watched. Oh my gosh, what was I watching last? Um, last. Oh my gosh, Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good show. Would you consider yourself a morning bird or a night owl?
Morning.
Okay. The one snack you need to have, no matter like any. That's the one snack. Like if you that was the last thing, you would be like sad it's gone. But what is the one snack you always have to have?
I love Cheez-Its.
Those are pretty good. What is if you could have any superpower? What would it be and why?
The ability to read people's thoughts whenever I want to. Because I mean, if I'm like just at the same time, I can drive myself crazy. But sometimes I want to know what people be thinking, so I'm just like, because I'm a little nosy like that. So
So you don't want to be like Professor X, where he was getting everything and you could
no,
stress.
not at the same time. Only when I want to.
If you were stuck on an island and you can bring three things, what would those three things be?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Because I could think like, okay, I could go logical, or I could go like,
Yeah, whichever way you want to go with this.
um, this is so hard. We're on an island. I can mean three things only. Oh my goodness. Ah, no. It's privileged my whole life where you just don't know. I'm like, there's no survival skill. Okay, find a fishing pole. So maybe like a fishing pole. Um, ooh, probably like a stack of books if that counts as one item. Like, probably like a beach chair so I can sit and read the books. I'll fend
Well,
for myself.
you have like something to sit on or lay on. You have something to entertain yourself and something to get you food. So it's not too
Yeah.
often. If there's anybody you can sit down and have a conversation with, dead or alive, who would that person be?
Oh gosh, probably Eddie Guerrero. I just want to know about that man's life from him. I would have just really liked his perspective on things, actually like everything post mortem, just because there's a lot of things maybe he wouldn't have wanted. Like, was he okay with the storylines that went through after his death, or was he not okay with it? I just want to know about his life because that's somebody else that I did like absolutely love watching when I was a kid. So probably Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I love him. He's definitely one of my top wrestlers. Just like great. He was great. So I should go on that one. And so my final question for you is: what advice would you give somebody trying to get into ring announcing?
Just start, just do it, because I mean, like, I think a lot of what people are afraid of is just what are people gonna think? What are people like? Are people gonna judge me? Yeah, it's entertainment. There's somebody that's like, not my favorite. Didn't really like that. Just start. Just start. A lot of people go find a school, which I trying to get into this field of entertainment. Go find a really good school that you can trust and just start. Like start something as far as whatever style you want to just do it because time is going to go by and you're going to say, why didn't I do it? Start.
Okay, I love that. And you're right. I feel like sometimes we do let fear get the best of us. That's definitely something I did at a point. So I definitely get that. So can you tell everybody where they can find and follow you and what you have coming up next?
Oh my, I've got so many things coming up, so I'm very excited about it. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Instagram is the only social media that I have at unorthodox.diana. That's unorthodox.diana on Instagram. And I've got lots of stuff coming up. Got Nutrition Lucha Libre this Saturday for Night of the Victoria New Era. And then I've got Pride Style Pro on February 8th. And I've just got lots of really cool stuff. Just follow me and let's be besties.
Love that. I will have the social media link to Instagram in the comments description. So just make sure you give Diana a follow. She's pretty awesome. So follow. And if you're in the area, make sure you go and support the promotion she is ring announcing at. Thank you so much, Diana, for coming on. It was fun. And I'm sorry that I know you're traveling and everything. So thank you even more so for coming on while you are currently traveling.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kat. And make sure to all follow and subscribe here as well.
Thank you. Okay, guys, until next time, we will catch you later.